Dude, you're paying how much for a phone line? This is Act My Age. Lessons from a guy who's old enough to know better. I'm Brother Russ. Today we're going to be talking about voice over IP, or how to get a second phone line for really, really cheap. Voice over IP is great because it comes over the internet. There's one service that I've used for years called CallCentric. We're going to dip into that really quickly. I'm just going to scrape the surface because there's tons of stuff that's available at CallCentric, and I just want to give you a taste. Just so you know, this allows you to bring phone service to your laptop, to an app on your cell phone. You can even bring it into a more normal, household phone if you still have one of those, using a little device like this, a little adapter that costs a few bucks, nothing more. Works really great. So let's dive in. So this is the CallCentric website, and it's actually probably about the most functional telephone website I've ever found. Um, Now, I should say that when you're dealing with numbers like this, voice over IP, for this particular one, you can use an application on your laptop, you can use it on your phone, you can use it on standalone phones and so forth, voice over IP phones. In this particular case, I'm going to be showing you an account that I have. I actually have several, but this is one that I had at a job I had a few years ago that I just sort of downgraded the service because it used to be for incoming UK calls. I was dealing with people in Europe a lot. So I had a United Kingdom telephone number attached to this particular account. Now that job has gone away and that isn't a necessity anymore, I've actually downgraded it to a free account, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But as you can tell, there's a number of plans. Let's go over here to the all services. I'll just show you some of the services. Now, you order services by incoming and outgoing. So you pick two services. One that has to do with how things are billed coming in and how things are billed coming out. And you might be thinking, oh, it's going to cost a lot of money. Quite the opposite. I've had a full-featured Verizon-based landline for years that costs quite a bit of money every month. I have currently a house line through CallCentric, which costs me less than $5 a month, and that's with unlimited incoming, and it's 2 cents a minute outgoing. But I rarely use my house phone for outgoing calls. So for me, that is perfect. And as you can see here, they've got ranges from things that are pay per call with $0 a month situation, which is what I use on my house phone, to these package rates where you can get 120, 500, or 1,000 minutes in the U.S. for as little as $2 a month up to $13 a month. And then North American residential, $20. World, 35 countries, monthly fee of $30. And that's unlimited calling for those 35 countries, which is pretty darn phenomenal, quite honestly. Receiving calls, we'll see in a minute about the free phone number, which is actually one I'm using for this account that we'll be looking at. But you can have these pay per minute ones incoming, or you can have personal unlimited for $6. They also have these cheap direct inward dial ones, which is the one I'm using on my house phone. So you can save money that way as well. I think that's like $3 a month. So it's really quite something. Let's take a look at the dashboard. The dashboard is really one of the best things about this service, as far as I'm concerned, because the amount of information here is phenomenal. The amount of information that you can control is phenomenal at CallCentric. It really is terrific. So you've got all your billing information. You've got recent calls and reports. The reporting engine we'll see in a second is really tremendous. And as we can see here, this particular product that I'm using has a free. I'm using a free direct dial phone number that happens to be a New York number, which is where their free ones are from. They're in New York State. I'm not in New York State. Doesn't make any difference. I still have a New York State phone number. If you try to call this number, quite frankly, by the time you By the time you try to do it, someone else may well have this phone number, because if you don't use it for, I think it's 60 days, then it goes back into a pool. You have to pick another one. So by the time you get around to watching this, chances are fairly good that since I don't get a lot of phone calls on this particular number anymore, that you may end up talking to someone else. So just so you know. But I've got a $0 pay-per-call outbound, so it's like it'll cost me 2 cents a minute if I want to call somewhere. Once again, I'm not using this phone that often, so it's not much. Voicemail is free. Basically, I pay for this particular plan. I pay $1.50 a month, which is for 911 support. That's it. You have to have 911 support if you're in the U.S. So that costs $1.50 a month. That's my total normal automated bill here. That's why I have an account balance of $5.55, because that's enough to keep me going for 3 months right there. You can automatically have it go via credit card or PayPal, which is really nice. Now let's take a look just for a second at the extensions. As you can see here, I had extensions, some of which I'm not using anymore, but I had the personal laptop, I had a voice over IP phone, I had a business laptop, I have an app on my cell phone, and then this was for a second cell phone, which is now gone, which I just haven't bothered taking off. But you can define all these individual extensions. So for one line, you can have separate extensions. You can have separate voicemails for each extension, which is pretty freaking wild. And then preferences, I'm not going to drill into all this, but you can see they've got a ton of stuff here. And from contacts to security on down to how you set up your voicemail, it's all here, and it really is pretty tremendous. Now I'm going to skip over to call treatments, because this is actually one of the neatest things. You can have it detect the phone that's calling you and do different things depending on what it is. And in this particular case, when I got this particular number originally, apparently the number itself was for some other fellow who I guess was late on his mortgage, so there was this mortgage company that was literally calling every day, and they wouldn't take me off the list. So what I did is I put in a call treatment that said, when it comes from this particular number, I want you to set it up so that it looks like the number is disconnected. So if that number calls, they will get the which is the disconnect signal here in the US. Everyone else gets the second call treatment, which says that it goes to any of these extensions and then finally to voicemail. And they allow you to set this up, and it's really, really quite flexible. So you could have it so it could go to your desk for the first 20 seconds, and if you don't answer there, then bounce to your cell phone or something, or to your laptop, whatever you want to do. It's pretty freaking wild what you can do. And then there's a full reporting engine so that you can actually take a look at every call that you've dealt with in the past, however long, what extension it went to, how many minutes it lasted. That's incoming and outgoing. It really is absolutely splendid. So I mean, it's one of these things that you don't want to miss out on. If you are doing anything beyond a cell phone, if you'd like to have either a home phone or an alternate phone for some reason, you want it on your laptop. One of the nice things about this too, I should mention, is that CallCentric gives you a base number, which is this 1777 area code. Anything that's in 777 is a CallCentric internal thing, which only works on their network, and you can call any of those numbers anytime for free, regardless of what plan you're on. So the interesting thing here is that when I was in England a few years ago, I had this number attached to my laptop, and then I had my our house number here, and so I could talk to my wife every night over CallCentric for free for about an hour a night. And if you've done any international calling, you know that that can cost you a pretty penny. But it costs us absolutely nothing. I probably talked for 4 hours online using the hotel Wi-Fi for the connection on the hotel end over in the UK, and then the house number here. It didn't cost us a penny, and it was stupendous because it allowed us to stay in touch and to do what we needed to do. So I mean, this is exceptionally powerful. There's tons of stuff that I have not mentioned here that I have not touched. Take a look. If you're looking for an alternative number for any reason whatsoever to do business with, Maybe, heaven forbid, if you've got bill collectors, you're going through a bankruptcy or something like this, and you want to switch everything over to another number like this one, so that your house doesn't get pelted with all these things. If you have any sort of issue where you need to shield yourself, this is a tremendous way to do it. It's very affordable. Likewise, if you need a special business number, you don't want people calling your house, you want people calling your cell. You want to give them a business number which is associated with your business. This is a very cheap way to get into that field, so that you're not breaking the bank. If you're a small business, you're getting started, and yet it can still come to your cell phone, or it can still come to a phone at your house or on your laptop or whatever you want to do. Really is tremendous. So take a look at CallCentric, and if this was useful to you, please hit like, hit subscribe, and see you in the next one.